Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is a Play Hard, Eat Well, Students Excel presentation. My name is Molly Stenberg, and I'm the Assistant Program Director of the Montana Team Nutrition Program. And my contact information is listed here on this screen. Please feel free to contact me via phone or email, or check out the other resources on our website if you need more information after this session. Our research that we've done about recess before lunch is based on kids playing first and then eating second. So this is a picture of Gallatin Gateway School in Montana. I'm happy to share with you today the recess before lunch research that we have done and the materials that we have developed to help schools across the United States explore this concept and give it a try in your own school system. I do want to tell you that our project has been funded by a USDA Team Nutrition Grant, and it's comes into Montana through the Montana Office of Public Instruction, and then is carried out through Montana State University Montana Team Nutrition Program. So I always like to give credit where credit is due, and so I would like to thank my co-worker Katie Bark, who came up with the original idea 10 years ago to study recess before lunch in Montana, as well as the Montana schools who agreed to be part of the pilot project. And then we've stayed in contact with many schools over the years that continue to tell us what's working well with recess before lunch, what their challenges were, and how they overcame those to develop really effective recess before lunch programs in our state. So we started a recess before lunch pilot project in 2002, 2003 with 4 schools. And within that pilot project, we measured plate waste and gathered feedback from students, school staff, and food service staff. In 2003, we were aware of 35 schools in Montana that were using recess before lunch. And since that time, we about 5 years ago started tracking the number of schools using recess before lunch. And I'm happy to tell you that over the last 5 years, the percentage has stayed about the same. 31% of Montana schools are using recess before lunch, which is almost 300 schools. So I think that's a powerful statistic. Montana schools are really embracing this concept and really are on the forefront of how it works. Based on what we learned from the pilot program, as well as talking to many administrators, talking to the students, we were able to develop a recess before lunch guide for success. And the whole purpose of this guide is to put information in place to help schools get started with the recess before lunch program. And the guide itself is available, accessible on the web at this website listed on this slide. So what did we learn? Well, from the results of our initial pilot project 10 years ago, we also did a survey of Montana principals in 2008, and both studies yielded really positive results. The benefits of a recess before lunch program were better behavior on the playground, in the lunchroom, and in afternoon classrooms. Teachers reported more uninterrupted teaching time, and that kids came back to the classrooms after having lunch ready to learn and more settled. The plate waste studies showed that there was less food waste, increased beverage consumption, and the principals reported that the children were taking more foods from the salad bar and drinking more milk. From being involved in the plate waste studies, one thing that was really shocking to me is When schools changed to doing recess before lunch, the number of unopened milk cartons drastically went down. So when kids play first, they work up a thirst, and they're thirsty when they come into the lunchroom. So more kids are opening their cartons of milk and drinking that nutrient-rich beverage when they have the opportunity to play first. Another benefit was an improved cafeteria atmosphere, which leads to better eating. All people like to have a nice atmosphere at mealtime, so that was another added benefit. One of the principals from one of our smaller schools told us that his discipline referrals during the whole lunch recess block decreased by 90%. So when we started this program, we were really studying it to measure how kids' nutrition intake could be improved. But what principals routinely told us, what they liked the best about it, is that student behavior was better, that there were less discipline referrals. Essential factors for success. It's really important to obtain buy-in, support, and cooperation from school staff. Strong administrator leadership is essential. Kim Anderson was a principal in Whitefish, Montana, and he was kind of the recess before lunch torch carrier in our state. He told me that when I asked him, is strong administrator leadership really important? He said, yes, it is. And I would recommend any principal that is doing this to drink a bottle of guts, because it's really, it's a change in a routine, but to have a committed administrator is essential to do this. The other thing we've seen in Montana is if you can have a school commit to a trial period of at least 1 year, that it takes that long to really get the kids in a routine, get the teachers in to the new routine, and that long to really see the benefits. So oftentimes the school will try it the first 3 months of the year or the last 3 months of the school year, which is okay, but what we found is if you could start it at the beginning and carry it through a whole school year, that's really the best way to measure outcomes. Common challenges are revising the daily school schedule, implementing a hand washing procedure, ensuring staffing and supervision, dealing with cafeteria layout or space, and then working through staff resistance. So a lot of those things that we discussed are all here for you in this Recess Before Lunch Guide for Success. How to use this guide. It provides a lot of general information and introduces the concept of recess before lunch. So if this is something that your school staff has not heard of, or something that you want to bring to your parent group or your school board, this is a really nice place to get general information. Based on talking with many school principals in Montana, we've tried to put together effective strategies to help you start a successful recess before lunch program. And then tips and advice from experienced principals. One thing that is in the guide is that we suggest that if you're considering this, that you would go to a school that would be similar size to your school and watch how the student flow patterns go. So to watch them go to recess, see how they come back into the lunchroom, and then how they are picked up by their teachers then to go back to class. Things often look really simple on paper, but I find that it's really effective to get out and see how it works in a school and talk to a principal who is experienced in developing the schedule. Assistance from Montana Schools, one of the sections within the guide is sample school schedules. And we have school sizes from pretty small, around 200 students, up to over 600 students. So we've tried to give you a variety of sample school schedules. We've put together some ready-to-use information for parents and school staff, such as brochures, PowerPoint information, simple sheets on how to get started. And then over the years, we've had quite a few people ask us if we would share our focus group questionnaires that we used with the students, and then also staff surveys. So those are accessible within the Guide for Success as well. Before our session ends today, I will take you to this website address where the guide is available and show you the different pieces and parts and how to use the guide to help you start your own recess before lunch program. Okay, let me take you here. All right, this is what our recess before lunch page looks like, and you can find it on the Office of Public Instruction is our State Department of Education, and within this the guidebook is listed here, and you could choose pieces and parts. There's a general information and implementation steps located here. Within this section, assistance from Montana schools, you will find the school schedules. Resources, research, and supporting information is a list of the current research articles, things that will help you build your case why you would like to try recess before lunch. Here's the pilot project report, and so it takes you through, shows you how much plate waste went down. It'll show you how much beverage intake went up. So that's a useful tool if that meets your needs. Education and marketing materials, these have all been developed just to be printed out and used. So there's a PowerPoint presentation, there's simple handouts listed as overhead transparencies, an example letter to parents. I would highly recommend that you let parents know that you're changing this, but at the same time, when you're letting them know that you're changing it, I think it's important that they're not, like, they know that you're in charge of the school schedule. So if you have a little parent resistance, I think that's probably normal, but again, you're in charge of your school schedule, and between you and the school staff, that's your kind of role to work that out. So letting parents know, letting school staff know. See if you can get your school wellness committee on board with this. They really can promote this for you and make the change go a lot more smoothly. Under additional resources, you'll find a variety of things. We have our results of the principal survey listed here. We did do a research article that was published in 2010 that talks about the benefits, challenges of a recess before lunch program. And then here's a really nice recess before lunch podcast from Peaceful Playground. So we're doing a full loop here. My colleague Katie Bark will do a similar video clip, which will share with you the specifics of our research. So I'm not going to focus on that today, but you can look forward to hearing from Katie Bark about that. Okay, I'm going to take you back to the PowerPoint presentation. And talk with you a little bit about the idea that health is academic, and that if we want to be really nurturing students that can behave well, learn well, grow up to be good citizens, earn well, really be successful in school, that the research is really compelling and I think fascinating now that there's such a strong link between healthy students, meaning the more physically active they are and the better that they eat, that they perform well in school. So recess before lunch is a great opportunity to work it into your school wellness policy. School wellness policy requirements came about in 2004, and with the recent passage of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act in 2010, schools are required to take another look at their school wellness policies and really keep them as an active program to support healthy students. So recess before lunch is a great way to really prioritize activity. We all know that recess time is essential for giving kids time to get up from their desks, move their bodies, give their brains a break, and how important just playtime or unstructured time is so that they can come back to class and be ready to learn. Recess before lunch is also an outstanding way to prioritize mealtime in your schools. We've had school administrators say, well, I always thought that lunchtime was important, but I just always thought that it was something that occurred in another building and it really didn't have anything to do with effective learning. Well, now we know with all of this research that it does, that physical activity and eating well are both the basis for giving kids the tools they need to do as well as they can in the classroom. So recess before lunch is a good way to look at your schedule, make sure that kids have enough time to eat. In Montana, we recommend at least 20 minutes of seat time, and seat time means that they would have 20 minutes once they sit down with their tray. You might have big eyes occurring right now because it sounds like a lot, but their studies show that the longer kids have to eat, the better they'll eat. So 20 minutes is ideal, 15 minutes is good. It's also a way to practice. If we let kids play first and then come in and eat in an unrushed atmosphere, it lets them practice lifelong healthy eating skills. So schools are working hard to meet the new breakfast and lunch meal patterns. In those, they're offering new vegetable subgroups, so colorful fruits and vegetables, trying new things. So we want children to be able to sit down with their tray and have time to try those new foods. Eating with friends and learning how to develop social skills and table manners are really important lifelong skills that schools can help children develop. Learning to eat slowly and enjoy their meals. You know, think of how our society eats today. We eat in front of our computers, we eat in our cars, we're always rushing around and just trying to squeeze a quick meal in. So I think recess before lunch gives them an opportunity to learn how to eat slowly, learn how to pace themselves, enjoy their meals. And I really think that all schools we owe it to children to do better than just herd them into the lunchroom. They're in there for 10 minutes and then we herd them back out. That I think mealtime is so important that we can use recess before lunch to help them be active and then come in and really enjoy their meals in a slower, more enjoyable manner. We had teachers say that they had timed kids and that they would sit down for 3 to 4 minutes, eat as fast as they could, and then dump their lunch trays to get out to recess. And I remember I did that as a kid so that we could get the best basketball hoop. So I think it's just something that you can do to set the environment, to lead them into making good, healthy choices just by changing the schedule. Another resource that we've developed that I have listed on the bottom here is called Pleasant Meal Times, and there's a whole training video on how to make meals pleasant in school cafeterias. So I would like you to check that out as well. And keeping our eye on the prize. If you're going to go to the trouble to start a brand new, to develop a new schedule and start a new program, I think the real reason behind it is doing what's right for kids. So by doing that, you're setting up an environment that helps kids excel on the playground. And this is Gallatin Gateway students playing basketball. That is an elementary school teacher jumping rope with the kids. And the picture on the upper left is a group of boys from Ponderosa School in Billings celebrating their Healthier U.S. School Challenge Award, recognizing their school for healthy meals and physical activity. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact myself or my coworker, Katie Bark, and we're happy to tell you all about what we've done with Recess Before Lunch in Montana, any future projects we might have going. We also like to maintain a contact list of principals that you could contact yourself for advice on how to get started. And we're always willing to share what we do. I would like to thank Melinda with Peaceful Playgrounds for allowing us to share our information today, and I look forward to hearing from anyone. Thank you very much.